How are you guys prioritizing what those engineers work on together? Are you guys building a roadmap together on some sort of cadence, deciding sprints, or any of those things normal tech companies do?
I feel like it's pretty obvious when you have so many users. Like literally when we started Cluely, we just said, let's build the most general version of Interview Coder. We built Interview Coder for everything, and we've given it like a very controversial marketing flair and called it cheat on everything. And now we have like literally millions of requests coming in a day that literally tell us how people are using Cluely. And we have like hundreds of customer emails saying like, hey, this is what I hate about Cluely. And like, okay, now I know what we need to fix.
Roy Lee is one of the smartest and richest 21-year-olds you'll meet. With his company Cluely raising $15 million Series A last week, at typical dilution levels, he would be worth 8 figures. What does Cluely make? AI that helps you cheat on interviews and tests. AI that can't be detected, but can listen to your computer audio and read your screen. What do I need to know about your early years to understand the Roy that's sitting in front of me today?
I think the single most defining character feature of me from the second I gained consciousness was provocative.
So you've been kicked out of not one, but kind of 2 schools with Columbia as well.
Yeah. After that one time, like you get kicked out of school once and it sort of like really toughens your mind and really makes you rethink, like, do I even need school in the first place?
Talk about being at the top of the timeline. You guys are the main characters in the X for You page right now. How does that feel?
It feels like I have all these assumptions about virality, and I've spent months wondering, like, man, I wonder why X feels so different from Instagram, TikTok.
One of the most interesting things I saw recently on Twitter was people claimed your system prompt was leaked. I have that up on screen right now. Is this what was actually your system prompt? Really quickly, I think a crazy stat is that more than 50% of you listening are not subscribed. If you can subscribe on YouTube, follow on Apple or Spotify podcasts, my commitment to you is that we'll continue to make this content better and better. And now on to today's episode. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, brother.
What do I need to know about your early years to understand the Roy that's sitting in front of me today?
I think the single most defining character feature of me from like literally the second I gained consciousness was provocative. Like literally since elementary school, kindergarten, there's been a camp of people who have been like avid Roy supporters and a camp of people who have been Roy haters. Every single time I've had a thought that's entered my mind, I've said it out loud publicly and like very brazenly. And this has like burned me and helped me many times. This has gotten me, you know, like in school, leadership positions at clubs, and a bunch of people who love me, like a solid friend group. And it's also gotten me, you know, like suspensions from school. I spent like every other Saturday in Saturday school, and like a million detentions. And it even eventually got me like kicked out of Harvard. So there's been a lot of like burns and a lot of gains from me being the polarizing person that I am.
You were kicked out of Harvard?
Yeah. Senior year of high school, I got into Harvard early as probably a result of me doing all this crazy shit. And later that, like I had a suspension for sneaking out of a field trip. And later that year, there was a camp of Roy haters who did not like all the brazen, crazy shit that I did. They mass reported me, and it ended up getting me suspended, rescinded from Harvard.
Wow, so you've been kicked out of not one, but kind of 2 schools with Columbia as well.
Yeah. I mean, after that one time, like you get kicked out of school once and it sort of like really toughens your mind and really makes you rethink, like, do I even need school in the first place? And after that first time I got rescinded, like my mind was locked onto, okay, I've always been unconventional and I've always been successful at things that I've done. I need to channel this into like the biggest, boldest play ever. And that's like building a company, bro.
Building a company indeed. And last time you shared the stats, it was at 5 million ARR. What's the latest for Cluely's growth?
Yeah. We're almost at 6, so we're growing quite quickly. And I think one thing that people don't realize and often forget is like we wrote the first line of code for Cluely like 10 weeks ago. We are earlier stage than like most YC companies of the latest batch, but it's hard to remember that because it feels like we've been on top of the timeline forever. But it's just a function of a really world-class, amazing marketing team.
Talk about being at the top of the timeline. You guys are the main characters in the X for You page right now. How does that feel?
It's pretty crazy, and it's really, I'd say, like, vindicating. Not No, I think crazy is the most general and specific that this feeling can get, but it feels like I have all these assumptions about virality, and I've spent months wondering, like, man, I wonder why X feels so different from Instagram, TikTok. It feels like on Instagram, TikTok, there's creators who have cracked the algorithm. I wonder why the tech Twitter feed looks so different. Like, why don't people apply these concepts on Twitter and just go hyper viral like they should? And I've had all these assumptions, and as soon as I started implementing them, like, they started working immediately and to like a massive scale. Like, I've literally become the main character of tech Twitter in the span of a few weeks. Like, a few weeks of pressing the button that I feel like is so obvious and clear to everyone. And it feels crazy that nobody else has caught on. It feels like I genuinely am pioneering something.
What have the millennials like me, what are we not understanding about your approach to virality?
I think what people don't understand is that short form, like, these algorithms reward what is most controversial. And people on X, LinkedIn, like, these are nerdy tech bros who want to appear smart or like thought provoking, and they'll write these long essays that maybe like 200 people in the world can understand in like an attempt to appear smart. But in reality, the algorithm rewards things that are digestible, controversial, and force people to have an opinion about. And for some reason, people on X, LinkedIn just have not caught on about like what are the best ways I can grow my company and like bring visibility to my company in doing this. And it's just like obviously, like, the nerdy tech bros that grow up and start tech companies are just not the same people that will be scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, and just be caught up on the latest in cultural trends. But I think I am part of a new generation of founder that has, like, I've grown up on this shit.
Yeah, we grew up on Facebook and stuff, and I think it was always about like presenting your best self. Even on LinkedIn, it's like about presenting this curated version of yourself, but you're willing to present kind of a more controversial side. How do you correctly create content that's controversial but still drives to your product? Today's episode is brought to you by the AIPM Certification on Maven. Run by Mikdad Jaffer, who is a product leader at OpenAI, this is not your typical course. It's 8 weeks of live, cohort-based learning with a leader at one of the top companies in tech. OpenAI just doesn't stop shipping, and this is your chance to learn how. Run along with product faculty and Mo Ali, the course has a 4.9 rating with 133 reviews. Former students come from companies like OpenAI, Shopify, Stripe, Google, and Meta. The best part? Your company can probably cover the cost. So if you want to get $500 off, use my code AAKASH25 and head to maven.com/product-faculty. That's maven.com/product-faculty. Today's episode is brought to you by Jira Product Discovery. If you're like most product managers, you're probably in Jira, tracking tickets and managing the backlog. But what about everything that happens before delivery? Jira Product Discovery helps you move your discovery, prioritization, and even road mapping work out of spreadsheets and into a purpose-built tool designed for product teams. Capture insights, prioritize what matters, and create roadmaps you can easily tailor for any audience. And because it's built to work with Jira, everything stays connected from idea to delivery. Used by product teams at Canva, Deliveroo, and even The Economist. Check out why and try it for free today at Atlassian.com/product-discovery. That's Atlassian.com/product-discovery. Jira Product Discovery. Build the right thing.
I think this is something that less people have to worry about. Like, there's way too many people that worry about a highly converting marketing funnel and all this bullshit. But in reality, there's no one else out there with more brand visibility than me. And there's probably not a company out there that would not die to have this sort of visibility on their product, especially at this early stage of being like 2.5 months in. And I think it's really hard to put a monetary value on this, because how exactly can you track all the conversions from literally being the main character of tech Twitter? Like, it's impossible. More than that, the formats that will be viral, these change like literally overnight. Overnight, you need to know the new thing that will be viral. And you have and if your content is changing literally every week, then how are you supposed to, like, if you find a winning content format, it's not really like you can rinse and repeat it, because in a month that's expired and it's not viral anymore. You just have to keep iterating and trying new things. And I think it's pointless to track conversions on bullshit and then like bullshit like that, because if you just know, hey, my product is visible here. If I was a consumer and I saw this and I saw this video, I would actually be incentivized, there's an actual call to action here, then the video will be converting, and you don't have to worry about it, because even if you discover, oh, it's converting and it's like roughly like a $2.73 it's all noise, bro. Like in a month the numbers mean nothing and they're expired.
The growth marketer in me died inside a little bit hearing that.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it's really, you cannot put a dollar value on the visibility that we have right now.
It's crazy. I would say you guys are easily the best distributing startup at the Series A or B range. If you were to break down this strategy for your friend who wanted to kind of copy your playbook, what would be the key elements?
A lot of people don't know, but we're averaging, like, in our first month of UGC on Instagram, we're probably on track to do like 50 million views a month. It's not just ex-LinkedIn that we're viral in. We're like pretty much viral everywhere. And there's things like the one thing that you need to understand, I think, is that since 5 years ago, short form content has surpassed long form content in views and usage. And this has resulted in a world where the number of content creators has stayed the same, but the number of content consumed has about 100x. As a result, there's not enough viral content in the world for a consumer to consume. What does that mean? That means that as a consumer, you're scrolling on TikTok waiting for more things to see, but instead you're met with the same Minecraft Subway Surfers meme on a Reddit story. Like, you see that 100 times because there's literally not enough quality viral content out there for you to see. Meaning, right now is a unique moment in human history where if you make a post or say something that deserves to be seen by millions, you will be seen by millions. And this is probably like the most unique moment in human history. And I think something that everyone needs to know is you need to make more content with the potential to go viral. And this is sort of like a dual threaded thing. And this is what I try and harp on every single time. The components of virality, at least on ex-LinkedIn, are A, it has to be digestible. This is a problem that almost everybody gets wrong. Like, your content is not digestible. You cannot imagine that everyone, you have to imagine that if everyone in America saw your tweet, they would understand what you're talking about. But almost nobody on Twitter does this. All of their content is just like unexplainable blockchain, crypto, Web3, AI bullshit. Nobody will understand this, so it will not go viral. That's the first thing. And the second thing is you need people to have a reaction to it. You can't just post something and expect, like nobody wants to see just a regular post. Like, you have to really picture the world where someone quote posts your tweet and the quote post is viral. What would the quote post say? If you cannot think of something, then you need to change your original post because it needs to be engageable. And those are the components of the virality. And if you have those two things, it's digestible and it's reactionable, and you turn out even like one of those a day, like, you will just end up on the top of the timeline, and that is what constitutes virality.
You're doing a lot of stunts along those lines, I would say. Like, there was a stripper somewhere involved. There was a party that got shut down by San Francisco Police Department. How are you coming up with these ideas? What's your own pipeline for generating these viral ideas?
I personally think I have quite strong viral sense. I spend a lot of time scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, like right now, almost as a mandatory keeping up with the pace of the culture. And you just need this viral sense, and when you have it, then it will, like, these things come obvious to you. About every single day we have like a marketing brainstorming session where we'll just like unscheduled, we'll just spend an hour talking about what is the next crazy stunt that we can do. And because everyone here is an influencer with viral sense, they know what goes viral, like, everyone spurts out these crazy good ideas. And like literally every day we come up with 20 ideas that have the potential to get 100 million views each. And it's sessions like this that you need, and it's sessions like this where, like, the whole, like, let's do stripper commercial, or let's do a like partying and getting like that these brainstorming sessions are where that comes from a group of highly dense group of people with viral sense just brainstorming together.
How old are you guys? Is there anyone in the 30 plus range?
One person, yes.
One person. So primarily younger people who really are understanding the heartbeat of these short form videos. They get together, you guys are coming up with 20 ideas, and then take me through idea selection, filming, uploading.
Yeah, I mean, every day we're trying to figure out, like we're almost like, I would say what we're doing in these meetings is reverse engineering the algorithm. We'll talk about what we've seen lately that's gone viral, and then we'll try to dissect at like the core level, why did this go viral and what can we learn from it. Something that's really interesting that will come out in the near future is a Cluely anime. And this will start with a trailer, just like tease the waters. But like this conversation started with like ChatGPT 4.0 image, and the whole Studio Ghibli trend took over the internet by storm. We just kept on wondering like, why did this happen? It wasn't super controversial. Like, well, what was the super viral component to this? And we think like among many things, it is that the people in tech are people who grew up watching anime and Studio Ghibli, and this is like such a nostalgic, deeply emotional, provocative feeling for them that there's something to be gained from this. And then we just talked down what are things we could do. Eventually we settled on, man, let's make a Cluely anime, and that ends up being a viral moment. And like, you can like keep this on record, this will do like over 100 million views, and I bet my life on this. The Cluely anime will be like an extremely viral moment, and this is just one of many things that we have coming up.
There's like a huge bridge between identifying a good idea like an anime, like even potentially I could do that, and then actually making it happen. So walk us through kind of your playbook of that. Obviously it sounds like you're hiring people who are really good at and have proven they've already gotten views. How are you like kind of further enabling them to make sure that they can create this good content?
Yeah, I mean, right at this point, we have an in-house UGC studio of over 60 creators who are on retainer, on schedule, and like that system is just running. We have like an in-house influencer marketing reaching out schedule, and that system is just running. We have an in-house, and we're building out this in-house like entire film studio where we literally have videographers, editors working to make like movie quality launch videos every fucking week, and that's up and running. And if there's ever anything that like a content format that we don't know how to make, then we'll just like, we all have agency here, we'll just look up a studio that can do it, and then we'll just like we'll find a way to make it happen. If you're convinced enough in the virality of a moment, then like, how much effort would you put into a video that you know with certainty is going to do 100 million views? A lot of fucking effort, probably. So it's really not that much overhead. And if it turns out that this is super repeatable, then we might just like try and do it in-house, and we'll try and find an animator studio to do this entirely in-house for us. But we're not there yet.
So we talked a lot about your marketing. When I asked people what I should be talking to you about, everybody wanted to get deeper on the product. And let's start with that. I think that the coolest thing is your UX. I think it's actually a new paradigm for UX that I hadn't seen before. This started with your product before Cluely, Interview Coder, where you came up with liquid glass essentially before Apple.
Yeah.
Talk us through your process of developing that UX.
Yeah, I mean, Interview Coder is sort of like the prototype of Cluely, and this started out as like this was the beginning of everything for me, and it was a tool to let you cheat on technical interviews. And I spent about 2 months just like really trying to narrow down like what the fuck is the most extreme UX that I can do, so an interviewer that I'm in an interview with is not going to be able to know that I'm using AI, and like I need AI to spit out an answer, and I need to be able to write that answer myself. So bro, the obvious thing here is translucency. You need to have code overlaid on top of your workflow, and code that you can see below it. And this is something new. Nobody's tapped into this. Like everybody has like a separate app for AI, or like a separate window, and you need a split screen AI, but that's not what AI should feel like. I mean, that's not like the capability of AI is like transformative, and the true graphical interface of AI has to feel seamless and integrated into every single workflow, and that's what the translucency comes from. And I think that's like obviously where Apple is headed with liquid glass. They're like prepping us for a world where AI is everywhere, and the way it will be shown is this translucent overlay. Yeah.
How did you personally kind of design that? Because I think the design is amazing. Like, did you have a lot of iterations? Did you get it right pretty early on? How did you get there?
Yeah, there were probably like 20 to 30 versions of Interview Coder that we tried before we landed on this final version, and this took like a lot of back to the whiteboard. But I mean, this is like just ended up being the best, most seamless version that we came up with. Yeah, it was literally just brute force. Brute force was the best product.
And do you guys have a designer on staff?
No. The design, like the product design, is just led by us, like the founders.
By all cracked engineers primarily. Is that how you're going to continue building the company?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about company building is when you're really good at one thing, the other things sort of come. If you have really, really good engineers, then the distribution will come. And if you have really, really good distribution, then good engineers and good product will come. And this is sort of what we're seeing. Like our inbound is like pretty massive. It's crazy. Like we have people from every company in the world. We have the best engineers who want to come. work with us just as a function of our distribution being so good, and this will in turn lead to our product being amazing, and that will in turn like funnel all the other things. And generally, company building is a positively reinforcing cycle of success. And when you have your first big win, this will just winners affect you into having more and more big wins. And yeah, like these engineers, they know what they're doing. They have great product sense, and they help us iterate closer and closer to the end state of Cluely.
How are you guys prioritizing what those engineers work on together? Are you guys building a roadmap together on some sort of cadence, deciding sprints, or any of those things normal tech companies do?
Bro, it's like I feel like it's pretty obvious when you have so many users. Like literally when we started Cluely, we just said let's build the most general version of Interview Coder, launch it, make it massively viral, and then see what people are using it for, and then we can like iterate towards like the actual product that we want to build. And that's like exactly what we've done. Like we've built Interview Coder for everything, and we've given it like a very controversial marketing flair and called it cheat on everything. And now we have like literally millions of requests coming in a day that literally tell us how people are using Cluely, and we have like hundreds of customer emails saying like, hey, this is what I hate about Cluely, and like okay, like now I know what we need to fix, and now I know where the stickiest use cases are. Yeah, I'm not sure if that answered your question.
I think the tough part is just like letting anyone do whatever they want, because there might be four people trying to solve the same problem differently and trying to ship, conflicting ways to solve it. How are you kind of organizing your guys' work to make sure it's on the highest priority stuff?
I think the team is so lean, like we're so aligned, like we literally have 4 engineers right now. So I mean, just every product decision it's just getting made by the team. Yeah, and I think it's easy to forget, but we are really new, really early. But we've just been on top of the timeline for so long. This is a function of my distribution strategy being correct, that everyone thinks we've been around for forever. But in reality, like the first line of code was written 10 weeks ago, so it's extremely new.
So the technical challenge I see you guys solving is how do we get kind of long context screen recordings plus audio transcripts that are 2 ways to a model to get like a pretty quick response. So what are the kind of innovations you guys have made on that front?
Yeah. I mean, we have our own custom audio engine that takes in system audio and microphone audio from the Mac. As far as we know, only Granola has something like this. Even like OBS Studio doesn't have this implemented yet. That's one of the things that we have. The other things we have like a pretty refined for understanding the context of your screen in particular. The models are not intelligent enough yet for you to just pass in like an screen recording of what's going on in your screen and have it expect it to reason over that. Instead, we take a screenshot at the time of query and pass that in with the rest of the token, and we have a specific image decompressor to like the native Mac screenshot is super HD PNG, and we have like a specific image compression to make that decrease the token size and sort of like decrease the input. And there's some things we do with servers and some things we're playing around with right now for decreased latency on the server request handling side. Like there's a lot of variance with OpenAI. Like sometimes you'll make a route when it's busy and it'll take 5 seconds, but when it's not busy it'll take 1 second. And there's workarounds to this, which is like host your own models on your own servers and you won't have to deal with that variance. Those are all things that we're exploring.
And right now it sounds like you guys are mainly built on top of OpenAI.
Yeah. GPT 4.1 is the main model provider right now.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys are going to end up following a pretty similar playbook to like the Cursors and Lovables of the world, where you start to build in multiple different models for different use cases and start to eventually personalize these models for people.
Yeah, of course, inevitably, yeah.
And when you look at that future, what is the type of investment you're going to need to be making? Because I think like these model companies like Anthropic and OpenAI, they're like burning cash, like billions of dollars. Is that the type of investment you foresee making?
I don't think so. I think the application layer is just fundamentally different from the model layer. The race to AGI is competitive and lucrative enough that the model providers are busy building AGI. And in the meantime, there's like literally trillions of dollars of economic delta to be swept up by application layer companies, and that's exactly what we're doing. And as a result of us just being like application layer, we don't have to take upfront the costs of racing towards AGI, and we can afford to just have traditional SaaS margins. And this is like the best place in the world to be right now.
What's the most successful sort of upgrade you guys have shipped since the initial version of the product?
Yeah, I mean, we've been focusing a lot. We just signed a huge enterprise contract, so we've been focusing a lot on shipping features specifically for them. But pretty much every single enterprise feature, like post call summaries, is probably one of the big ones. Every time you use Cluely in a meeting, you can end the meeting. It'll give you a summary of what happened in the meeting, and it'll also tell you times you should have used Cluely when you didn't use Cluely. And this is like the ultimate training tool for sales reps. Like as a result, like you can, hey, customer had X objection. You should have used Cluely to answer why, but you didn't, and as a result, like you lost the deal. And this like literally spells out for you, here's why you lost the deal, because you didn't use Cluely at X moment.
Yeah, I feel like the sales tech market is going to be huge for you guys. I was a VP of product at Apollo.io, if you know that company.
Of course, you know Apollo.
Had CEO of Zoom Info on the podcast. Like all of his growth recently has been through these AI tools for salespeople. Do you envision kind of building like a Cluely for sales, or are you going to continue to build it as kind of a product for everybody with maybe some specific sales features?
I mean, yeah, like ChatGPT for sales is just ChatGPT, right? That's like it's like sort of what we're angling for. Like there are really specific enterprise use cases that are highly profitable, but at the end of the day, we don't want to just only capture the sales tech market. We want to be the default way that you use AI in the future. And as you've said, like the most interesting thing about Cluely is the UX. I think this UX is not just good for technical interviews and salespeople. Like it's good for everybody. And if it is good for everybody, if there is potential market fit for everybody, then we might as well try and capture the biggest audience that we can.
Do you think that all AI apps are going to have that kind of UX in the future?
Almost inevitably. I think like chatbot is just it's just wrong. The models will get better. Like literally, the model you use today is the worst. The model is the worst model you will ever use for the rest of your life. These models are inevitably going to improve, and when they do, they will be intelligent enough to take knowledge of your screen and be able to use it to give you a better answer. Like it's just so obvious that chatbot is not the future. And like Karpathy is over there, like at startup school, talking about, bro, like the new GUI for AI needs to be developed. It still hasn't been developed. Like we need it. We were waiting for it. And Apple's coming out with Liquid Glass. Like it is obvious that this is the bet that every single reasonable, rational human being in the world is making.
One of the most interesting things I saw recently on Twitter was people claimed your system prompt was leaked. I have that up on screen right now. Is this what was actually your system prompt?
I mean, probably like this gets changed like every 3 days, probably. Like the prompt is not the mode. We're gonna open source this anyways. The specific system prompt. I mean, like in the end state with the intelligent enough model, like the system prompt will be, here's the audio, here's the screen, help this user the way they need help. That will be the end state of the system prompt. The model will be able to reason. Like right now, we're just we're adding in things to like try and make it better. But I mean, like, we're not selling the system prompt here. We're selling Cluely, and we're selling the specific user experience. Like this has nothing to do with the product.
Okay, that's really interesting because I'm a bit of a prompt engineering nerd, so I wanted to geek out on this. But you're saying this is changing so fast, and it's not really that important.
Yeah. I mean, we have like custom evals in house, and we're using them to like iterate towards a better prompt. But at the same time, like even our use cases, the main use cases for Cluely change every day. So I mean, the system prompt also changes every day. Like this is by no means like perfected or analyzed or iterated on at all. This is just like something we just came up with that seems to fit the evals and metrics of usage that we see today.
One of the things I noticed experimenting with the product myself was that you have this personalized component, and I think that really unlocks a lot of the value in Cluely. Are you encouraging people to use that?
Yeah. I mean, we're playing around with the new onboarding right now. Like that will show them personalized. Because in reality, the general AI assistant, the tech is not there. But the tech for, hey, you are a sales assistant and your express purpose to help me make the sale. Here are common objections. Here's product knowledge. Like that works really fucking well. And even more so, like, hey, I am Aakash Gupta. I run this newsletter in XYZ, and I want you to respond in XYZ way. Like that works really well. And again, like the thing we're selling here is the UX. So I mean, we're playing around with the new onboarding to get people really used to the personalized. But yeah, you're right. That is the value unlock right now.
Yeah, as a former head of product growth at a SaaS company, that's what I jumped to too. It's like the onboarding and then the information architecture just to make sure that like if people are using it regularly and they're a paying seat and they haven't personalized, to keep sending them back to like personalize, or maybe even like you said, kind of getting the model to update its personalization on its own.
Yeah, those are both things we're pretty interested in. That will be default. What we're really hesitant to do is push out a feature that will get solved by a smarter model, and that's why we're really hesitant about the personalize. Because in reality, if there was a smarter model, you wouldn't need to like push people to personalize. You could just have the smarter model just reason. Um, but we're not there yet, and we're still debating internally on what to do with that.
So, if you're building cheating software for everything, how does a product manager cheat with Cluely?
Yeah, I mean, there's like imagine you're on a customer call with someone and you're trying to sell them your enterprise product. Like there's many ways. Like you're on a call with a new person. You just back to back meetings. You know nothing about this person. With Clue, you can just like command enter who is this guy, and it will just immediately tell you. It will surface the information, and every single time they say something that you don't know. Like for example, hey, I spent the last 8 years at Adobe Force, and you have no idea what that is. All of a sudden, you can just command enter, and now you know exactly what Adobe Force is, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, Adobe, like you know everything about this person. You are now the default expert in anything they talked about, and this is what cheating looks like on meetings. You all of a sudden have access to this breadth of information that you never had access to before, thanks to AI, and the other person has no idea. This is cheating. This is as you can imagine, like every single enterprise call, or even just like a regular call in general, like how many times do you say I don't know, or how many times do you say, hey, I forgot that last question. Like every single instance of this is solved when you have this AI that's listening and can surface relevant context.
AI evals are one of the most important skills for PMs, and I know you know they matter. The question is, are you doing them right? Most teams are winging it with basic metrics and hoping for the best. Meanwhile, the teams that actually ship reliable AI, they've cracked the code on systematic evaluation. Today's episode is brought to you by the AI Evals for Engineers and PMs course by Hamal Hussain and Shreya Shankar. This live Maven course will teach you the battle-tested frameworks from Hamal and Shreya, who are the engineers behind GitHub Copilot's evaluation system and 25 plus production AI implementations. 4 weeks, live instruction. Next cohort starts July 21st. Start shipping AI that actually works. Enroll at maven.com with my code AG-product-growth for over $800 off. That's AG-PRODUCT-GROWTH. There's this rumor online that you raised your $15 million Series A in 2 days. Is that true?
It was a preempt. I mean, we didn't even do a proper fundraise. Like, they just kind of came to the office as soon as we got to San Francisco. They saw what we were doing, they liked it, and they just immediately just offered a term sheet, pretty much. Yeah, like 2 days is just something we said, but in reality, it took like 0 days because we didn't do a fundraise at all.
Crazy. So that was basically the power then of your distribution and A16Z wanting to make a bet on you guys?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty clear that we spike really, really hard, and I think if you're wanting like gigantic fund returners, then you don't bet on the guys doing the same thing everyone else is doing. It's very clear that we have a world-class distribution and marketing team. So yeah.
So you're already making more from enterprise than consumer, and you want to reach 100 million ARR within the year. What's your forecast of how that revenue split will look like?
Yeah, I'm hoping that at our end state it looks like 30% enterprise, 70% consumer, and I think that's just like we have a strong consumer product, and something like this is PLG to the moon, and I think there's like a very strong consumer use case, and obviously we have probably the best consumer marketing team in the world right now. So yeah, but like there's more enterprise inbound than we can handle at the moment, and yeah, like pretty interested in exploring that as well.
The tough thing about consumer is they churn so badly versus enterprise, they just stick around forever.
Yep.
What's your vision for Cluely even beyond 100 million ARR?
Yeah, I mean, we really think that we've like been first to move on the UX of the future, and I think everybody is just like confirming that we are correct about translucent overlay being the future. And right now, it's just a land grab for us. The enterprise end state, I mean, this is a tool that will be able to pull from your CRM, use that knowledge to assist you real time, and then push back to your CRM. The end state for enterprise, like we literally kill Salesforce and we become the new CRM of the future. It's AI native, it's real time, and it takes in all the context of all enterprise knowledge and feeds it to you directly. Like, that is the enterprise end state, and the consumer end state is true. Like I've been on record saying this a few times, but like brain chips, that is the ultimate form factor for AI. When we have AGI and super intelligence, we do not want to be like humans versus AGI. We want to be like humans plus AGI, and that means brain chips. And I truly think that is the end state of the company of Cluely. Right now, we're distributing and we're going hyper viral distributing the future form factor for AI. And if we're going to double down and project this out for a few years or a few decades, this means that we're going to stay hyper viral. We're going to distribute the brain chips.
You, Alexander Wang, Elon, you guys all seem to be on this brain interface
Yeah.
pathway. What are the rest of us missing on this?
I mean, I feel like it's just inevitable. Like tech is exponentiating right now. If you just look at the number of like the amount of software by lines of code being written, it's literally hockey sticking right now thanks to AI. Every single technological innovation is going to come faster. Research is going to be significantly developed. I mean, like if technology exponentiates, then the border and the line between sci-fi and reality just like changes like immediately. And in that case, what is the most optimistic way you can see AGI? I truly think it's brain chips. Like if it's not integrated into our brains, then it will not help us in the best way that it can. I am a true AI maximalist to my heart. That's why I say cheat on everything. In reality, that means use AI for everything in every instance possible. And if I really believe what I say, then like that means like fucking brain chips.
You've said me versus Elon versus Sam. We're all going to be competing for titles as conquerors of the universe. Walk me through how we get to you competing with OpenAI and XAI.
Yeah, I mean, it feels quite clear to me that companies are converging into super companies, and the ways that you can get there are either be a massive company already or just like moonshot yourself into massiveness, massive size. And that means flipping a coin and landing heads 20 times in a row. And that means you just have to swing the biggest way you possibly can, make the most noise you possibly can, and just hope that the things that you spike in will just funnel you more and more and more into greatness. I think there are a few short years before the super companies will have emerged and it will have been decided who the winners are. And in that few short years, I have the time to do what I do best, and that is make as much noise as possible and attract the attention of the whole world onto a product that will only get better. I truly think that if there is a reasonable case for us to be a super company, this is the case. We are capable of commanding more attention than anybody else at our scale with our budget, and we've shown this not once this past few days, but like the past few months, I've shown that I've been able to command the attention of the entire X timeline. And I think this only projects out into ultimate scale. We get more money, we get more funding. With our knowledge of the algorithms, like we will just dominate the mind, capture entire extreme consumer mind share, and this will project out, moonshot us into hyper relevance and super company status.
So the critical thing there, I think, is then building that company, right, within Cluely. So let's talk about working at Cluely. You said you're not going to have any work-life balance if you work at Cluely. Your whole life is Cluely. So what is the type of culture you're trying to build?
Yeah, I mean, this literally is a frat house like exemplified. We have a 6-bedroom mansion in San Francisco, 3 stories, and pretty much everyone lives here, or you live a block away. You spend all your time here, you dick around here. We give free Hinge premium to all our employees, and every single date is sponsored. We spend our time dicking around about future and like our careers or relationships. It's a friend group with the sole purpose of living like a tribe almost.
The frat house mentality, it works pretty well to grow at the beginning. Do you think there are any risks?
I'm sure that there's things that we're doing that like will end up in lawsuits later, but I mean, you solve problems when they come, not before they come. Maybe this will burn me, but I mean, like right now, this is what the culture of of a company should feel like. If you're clocking out at 7 p.m., going home and just like like hanging out in your second life, then I feel like you're just not invested in the company. Your work, your life, everything about you should be Cluely.
That's a really high bar. Usually you have to pay people a lot. What's your approach to compensation to getting people to buy into this culture?
Yeah, I mean, we do pay people a lot. Like I think it's ridiculous to me that companies are seemingly having a race to the bottom to see what's the lowest amount I can pay my software engineers while still having them like dedicated. If you want employees that are dedicated to you, you should be dedicated to your employees, and this means that paying them what they're worth. Every software engineer we have is bringing us upwards of like a few $100,000 of revenue per year, like by headcount. So by that metric alone, they should be getting paid that much. And I think I'm not hesitant to pay employees massive salaries and give them massive equity because they're vital. Like, if I expect you to be a part of the cult religion of Cluely, then I should be rewarding you as if you are a valid contributing member of the cult. And everything we do is like extreme. Our compensation ranges are extreme. The company outings are extreme. The Hinge premium is extreme. Like everything we do is extreme. And as a result, it's a super unique culture. And the thing is, like, you don't apply if you're not interested in the culture. Like right now what we're doing, I mean, it's interesting to almost everybody in the world.
The parallels it gives me most to our Uber, right? And Uber
Yeah.
was able to take that culture. Travis was able to get everybody to invest all in. And I think the lawsuits came down the line from, women were at the workplace finding it too fratty and things like that. How do you kind of protect yourself from those downsides?
I mean, it's not like we're like sexually harassing or assaulting people in here. Like we're just like digging around and like I don't I think this is a pretty friendly work environment for anyone who's like of the age of like I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I mean if you're like a chill, youthful, fun guy, you will come here and you'll or a guy or girl, you'll come here and you'll have a good time. And I don't think that means like sexually harassing your employees or anything.
Okay. And you said you wanted to launch the best paid internship program. You said you wanted to launch and hire 50 interns. Is that how it's turned out?
We have more than 50 interns if you count UGC content creators as interns. And I think that there's a very strong case for you too. I mean, like, what is a marketing internship? You're working part time for a company in the hopes of a full time return offer, and you're providing value for them by getting more eyeballs in the company. That is what a marketing internship is. And right now, in today's world, in today's like economy, like what that looks like for us is you sit in front of a camera and you make videos and you get paid for the videos that you make. By all means, like our UGC creators are growth, they're marketing interns. They're better marketing interns than like every intern that every other company hires. Like I guarantee you, this is more profitable and lucrative than having some 17-year-old college kid like try and design a billboard or whatever the fuck the other marketing interns are doing at bigger companies. And if you count them as interns, then yeah, we're like over 70 then.
Okay, so I really like that. So you're using your internship program to find your UGC creators. These are generating your hundreds of millions of views on Instagram and TikTok.
Yep, yep.
So I told my dad, a 60-something professor of computer science, that I was interviewing you this weekend. And he said, you have to ask Roy, are we all going to get dumber? Because his students are using these cheating tools and he feels like they're not.
I mean, like, what exactly are they learning? Like, I bet the blacksmithing instructor from 1600s would have thought, like, man, it's a shame that all these students, these people nowadays, they don't know anything about blacksmithing. Like these kids are all getting dumber. But like, why exactly do we need to know blacksmithing? Like, as technology advances, there's bits of knowledge that we don't need to know and bits of knowledge that become exponentially more relevant. And I think with AI, this is going to massively change the scale of how things work. It's going to make 99% of knowledge in the world redundant right now, and the 1% of knowledge that is left, it will be 100 times more useful to know. So no, I don't think people are getting dumber. Like maybe people are memorizing facts less. Like maybe there will be less people who know what the 50 capital states of America are. But I'm like, okay.
So it kind of goes back to that leak code example then, right? Of interview coder, where it's like the stuff we're not learning, like how to memorize the answer to 600 algorithms riddles,
Exactly.
isn't maybe that important.
In the future, work, labor, the human experience will look so different. There's not one historian that is going to look back and think, man, it would be better if we knew this useless information. In fact, has that ever happened in history? Like, I would argue that it hasn't, where technology has evolved and made some X form of knowledge useless. And people are saying, like, man, the world would be so much better if that technology never existed and people would know more about this Y random subject. That has never happened in the history of humanity ever. When the calculator emerged, people definitely are worse at computing fast right now than they were when before the calculator arrived. But not a single soul says that the calculator was like an evil invention. Like everyone agrees that it was just better for the progress of humanity, despite it resulting in people being worse at computing things, like mentally. And there's just a skill that is irrelevant. And right now, like literally, these models are the worst they will ever be for the rest of your life. If a model can do it right now, why would you think that it could not do it in the future? And if it can't do it right now, then whatever task that is obsolete.
On the betting market, poly market, there's a bet that you're going to go to jail this year. Why would you go to jail?
I don't think I will go to jail. I don't think I'm doing anything illegal here. I think the company is growing, it's flourishing, the employees are happy, I'm happy, and there's no reason for me to go to jail. I think people take what I'm doing, which is applying the markets, applying the principles of like engagement bait and rage bait from Instagram, TikTok, applying it to X, LinkedIn, and seeing massive success with it, and they're extrapolating it to a character or persona or traits that don't actually exist in real life. All I'm doing is very good marketing because I'm able to a skill set from a wealth of experiences that most tech bros just never had.
Insanely good viral sense, I think.
Thank you.
What's something people get wrong, most people get wrong about Cluely?
I think they think that there is no product, but I think one thing that people forget often is that the company is just the first line of code was written 10 weeks ago. This is more new than the recent batch of YC startups, but it is just so dominantly on your timeline. People think this company's been around forever. When are they going to ship a product? And you just can't get it off. It's so on top of your mind. But in reality, like we are extremely new. And people say like, this is like I could have built this in a weekend as like a hackathon project. Like we did. It has been built over essentially a weekend. It is essentially a hackathon project that is getting iterated on like extremely quickly. I think that's the one thing that people get wrong. They forget because of how dominant we've been on the timeline. They forget how new the company really is.
Well, I'm looking forward to the ongoing future versions of Cluely. I'm hoping that next year's Cluely looks nothing like this one. Roy, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you, brother.
So if you want to learn more about how to shift to this way of working, check out our full conversation on Apple or Spotify podcasts. And if you want the actual documents that we showed, the tools and frameworks and public links, be sure to check out my newsletter post with all of the details. Finally, thank you so much for watching. It would really mean a lot if you could make sure you are subscribed on YouTube, following on Apple or Spotify podcasts, and leave us a review on those platforms. That really helps grow the podcast and support our work so that we can do bigger and better productions. I'll see you in the next one.